Hi friends, I'm Jamie Estelle Roth and welcome to My Higher Self Has Questions. After losing my eyesight, I began seeing life in a completely new way, through laughter and love and a few divine WTF moments. On My Higher Self Has Questions, we talk about how enlightenment meets real life. This podcast is where I sit down with healers, mystics, and everyday magic makers to talk about what it really means to grow, surrender, and laugh through the mess of being human. This isn't a podcast about perfection. It's about the truth that sometimes healing looks like crying in your car, and sometimes it looks like loving your own chaos. If your soul is on a healing journey, or you just need a reminder that you're not alone, you are in the right place. Let's get curious. Hey everybody, welcome to My Higher Self Has Questions. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm extra happy because I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Jenn Hensley, and she has Sea Glass Spirits. Correct?
Sea Glass Spirit.
Spirit,
yep.
Thank you. Not spirits like the liquor.
There is a liquor company called Sea Glass Spirits, I believe, so that S is important.
Fantastic. Okay, well, that's good. And we're going to talk today about what she does to help others. She is a medium and an amazing one at that. She and I had a sit down last week, and I learned a lot from her, but I still have a lot of questions. First question that I have for you is, how the hell did you get started as a medium?
Oh, okay, so this is a very long answer. So I'm trying to do the short answer. So when I look backward, I see it all perfectly. I see all the path. In the moment, I had no idea. So there have been breadcrumbs my entire life, from taking a class at UNLV from Dr. Raymond Moody, who coined the near-death experience. He coined that term. He's that guy. Didn't even know that at the time.
Okay.
I would see things. I would know things.
So you were tapping into your intuition.
Yes,
okay.
And what some people might call a psychic ability.
Okay.
And there were things that even literally saved my life that I could not explain. That I started, I think I was in late teens, early 20s, and I started talking about, there's angels with me, because there's no way I should have avoided that, like car accident, things like that.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about that too.
So fast forward to another big car accident that happened, where I actually got into this bad car accident coming out here to visit. I didn't live here at the time. And I flipped over and rolled up a hill 4 times, and I had Reiki'd my truck before I left that morning. From the front of my truck, you couldn't even tell that I'd been in an accident. Windows didn't even break. But I know now that it was Spirit's way to get me out of my comfort zone and have me move from where I was. I was dug in where I was. Hometown, job, house, the whole nine. I wasn't leaving. Yeah. From there, I moved out here to California, and I was in a relationship at the time. I was living in a Victorian, out in the ag fields, and there was a lot of energy. And I woke up in the middle of the night one night. This was my big thing. And my ex was asleep, the dog's asleep, and 3 feet on my left, there is a glowing man, fully there, fully in color. And he's got a red and blue checker pearl snap shirt and a white cowboy hat. He's a Caucasian white guy. His face looks a little otherworldly, but definitely human. And he's standing there, and he's just giving me this grin, like, you have no idea what's coming. Not scary. I was never afraid. And I'm just laying there looking at him like, what is happening? But also like, who are you? But like, I'm not afraid. Like, what's going on? And he just gives me this little smirk, like this little smile. So someone called it a Mona Lisa smile. It was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that he was blinks down, like it comes in on itself to his solar plexus, and he's gone. He had an aura, like a golden colored light about this far off of his body around him that just undulated and moved, kind of like in the movie Ghost, where she finally sees Patrick Swayze at the end.
Yes.
It's that. And he is fully glowing. And so when he goes away, I was aware that he wasn't putting off light. Like, if I had put my hand between him and the wall, there would not have been a shadow. He just was made of light.
Oh, my gosh.
And so when he blinks out, the room goes dark. So that starts a whole bunch of questions. It's
okay, did that freak you out at all? Like,
no, but I was like, I'm going to think I made this up. So I grabbed my phone, and I put some notes in my phone so that the next morning I would know I didn't dream it. Wow. Because I'm, like, looking at my ex, like, he's asleep, the dog's asleep, that just happened. Like, wait, what?
Wow.
And I went back to sleep. I don't know how, but I went back to sleep. And in the morning, I'm like, oh, I had that crazy dream. Wait a minute. No, I didn't. There's notes in my phone. That really happened because it was about 3 a.m. when this happened. So from there, all these other magnificent things start happening. And I mean, I could talk for an hour just on this part.
What would be a magnificent thing that happened? That
Marbles falling out of the sky.
Oh, yeah. Explain that, because you had mentioned that before.
So I went to, it was the end of the year, COVID 21, and we had kind of ventured out of the house. We went over to the San Juan Bautista Mission because I've always been fascinated by the paranormal, because I would have things happen to me, and I was always looking for proof of life after death my entire life. I just knew there's something there. The things that happen don't make sense. So we go there, and I'm just kind of we're going to take some pictures. It's nighttime. There's nobody out there, and I'm just going to kind of maybe ghost hunt. I had a ghost hunting app on my phone.
Oh my gosh.
So we get out there, and we're just walking around, and audibly I hear my name being called, but there's no one there. And I walk up on the step of one of the houses that's there, and as soon as my foot hits the porch, a rock falls on the porch above me, which startled me. But I'm like, what is that? So I'm looking, like, is there acorns? Is there construction? Like, I have a very analytical brain. So I'm looking for, like, what is this? Long story short, rocks start falling in communication and response to things I'm asking. And it makes no sense. And I'd come off the porch. And every time I would step back on the porch, a rock would hit the second my foot would touch the wood. So I'm, like, asking, you know, the spirits that are there, like, questions, and I'm getting answers with these rocks falling. And eventually I'm at the end of the porch, and something falls. I have the recording of it on my phone. It falls, rolls, you hear a little plunk, and then it hits the ground next to me.
What?
And I turn down and look, and in the mud, there's this marble. I wore it today for a reason.
Okay, what color is it?
It's like a sea green blue. Sorry, forgot.
I am blind, everybody, just in case. Yeah.
It's like a sea green blue.
Okay.
And it's
beautiful.
Sitting there, and there's a yellow, like, little golf pencil pointing at it. Like, don't miss it. This marble's sitting there.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's room temperature, but it's cold outside. This is, like, October. And I'm like, well, where did this come from? And now I'm afraid to take it, because I'm like, I'm not trying to take anything home. So I ask again if I can take this. If it's for me, can you throw another rock? Well, some commotion happens and stuff, and I didn't trust the rock that was thrown, because that's me. I want sign your sign.
Yeah.
So I'm bent down, I'm looking at it, and I said, okay, if it's for me, can you throw another rock? And a little pebble comes skittering between me and the wall. And there's no one. My ex is over here. He can't. There's no reason.
Okay, so question.
Yes.
When you were stepping up on the porch, did it jostle something? Was the building settled? Was it sturdy? Was it coming from the roof? Like the eaves and the roof? Like, and was it just one rock, or was it like, you know how sometimes things can shift?
Right. No, I get that, because that's how my brain works too. So that's why I was like, it's an acorn falling from a tree, or like a rat disturbs something, right? I'm like, there's something. There's a reason.
There's a spirit at the top of the roof going, just tink. Yeah. There you go.
So at one point, because I still don't believe, and that's why I keep asking for more, I said, okay, if this is real, throw a rock as hard as you possibly can. Like, not just a rock falling, like force behind it. And it did. It hit so hard and skittered right above me, like it hit and rolled. I was freaked out. And I was like, okay, thank you, that's enough. So I'm like, okay, is there a person up there? Right? Like, messing with me? Like, I thought all of this. And so then at the very end, after I get the marble, the little rock's thrown. There's no way that could have come from anybody. I leave, and I had been recording on my phone. And so at the end, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of doing like an energetic closing, and like nothing's coming home with me. I'm saying my thank yous for interacting and all of that, and I just kind of whisper at the end, thank you, and I go to walk away. Well, there's a voice on that recording, and it says, you're welcome.
Get the fuck out.
And when as I listen, there's more voices. No, I swear to God. And so then that turns into me going, oh my God, there's voices, but that's the beginning. So it turns into rocks being thrown at different times in really cool ways, hearing my dad's voice on the recording. My dad had just passed. My best friend's voice comes through, and then I'm falling asleep. I would see faces just moving. Okay. I would hear my name called. I would see orbs flying outside, you know, big, red, beautiful, like fluttering like a bird, but always in a place where only I could see it.
Wow.
And I would listen to podcasts at work. And then usually when you listen to something, you can energetically feel like that's for me. Everybody has that ability where you're like, I need to look that up. I need to listen to that. And that led me to my mediumship mentor.
Okay.
And I signed up with him not knowing anything, and it made no sense. I'm not a joiner. I don't like to not be good at things. And I joined a 6-month mentorship under him.
So where did you find a mentor for mediumship?
I was listening to, I think it was Danielle Serank's, she's the Squamish medium, her podcast, and she was talking about Charlie Kelly in the UK. And I'd listened to so many episodes, but something about him stood out. So I started listening to his YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, he's for me. And so then I was on this trip with my ex where all this otherworldly stuff was happening. And I saw that there was one spot left in his mentorship, and I was like, oh, that's for me. But it makes no sense. I'm not a medium. I don't need a mentor yet. I don't even know what I'm doing. But it was like, you're supposed to do this.
Yes.
And I signed up.
Oh, my God.
And then I was terrified. And like, what have I done? And now I've worked with Charlie, I don't know, 4 years or something.
Wow.
And I've been to England twice to see him. I'm going back again this year. He does residentials. He's amazing.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Wow. Okay, so when you went through the mediumship mentoring program in the UK, right?
Because you would do it on Zoom.
You did on Zoom
and then
first.
I've done residentials with him.
Okay. So when you did all that, as you were going through the process of learning kind of how to do this, because that fascinates me too, as far as how does someone learn to be a medium, and how does the mentor, the coach, give you lesson plans for that?
Well, and that's what's amazing is Charlie works with people at all levels of development. So when I sign up, I get on my Zoom. It's like 4 a.m. local time or something. And I'm terrified. And my naive self thinks, oh, we're going to start at the beginning. He's going to teach me. No, he's not. He's working with working mediums.
Oh, my gosh.
And so he's like, right, is anybody new here? And I'm like, me. And then he's like, let me know if you have any questions. He's very kind. He's like, let's do the first read. We'll get it out of the way. He puts us in breakout rooms. I get paired with this wonderful medium, Tanisha, who at the time was in San Diego. And she's like, do you want to go first? Do you want me to? I'm like, you can go, because I don't know what I'm doing. She gives me a beautiful reading. And now it's my turn to do one for her. And I was like, oh my God. I start crying. I feel stupid. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. I thought this was something totally different, and I don't know why I'm here. This isn't like me. I don't know why I did this. And she's like, you're fine. And she's so sweet, and she's consoling me. And I'm like, okay. And so we go back into the main room. So Charlie's doing his stuff, and I'm frozen. And I've got to tell him, I've got to back out of this. It was a 6-month commitment.
Oh, Lordy.
And it's 2 10-hour days back to back each month. He does the next breakout. I get paired with his partner, Carol, who runs things for him. And she's like, hey, Jen, how's it going? I was like, Carol, thank God it's you. I'm in the wrong place. I thought this was something else. Charlie pops his head in. And he's like, you're thinking too much about it. And I was like, Charlie, I don't even know what you mean. And he goes, tell me who you have. I go, I don't know what you mean. And he was like, quit thinking. Tell me who you have. A man, a woman, a boy, or a girl. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I was so frustrated and crying. And I was like, a man. And he was like, tell me about him. And I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, how old is he? I'm like, 40s. He goes, quit thinking, tell me. And I spit some stuff out. And then he goes, yeah, that's my friend so-and-so. And he validated all the stuff. He goes, quit overthinking it. You've got this. Puts me back in class.
Oh, my God.
So now the next mechanic, he says, and I believe this was for my benefit. He never said so. He said, the next one we're going to do, I want you guys to use your imagination and be as wrong as possible. The goal is to be wrong. Make up a story. And I was like, well, I can make up stuff all day. So I get paired with another girl in class. She's like, do you want to go first? I'm like, yeah, I can make stuff up. Let's go. So I start telling her about this guy, and it was like so out there. And my imagination is showing me Italy, even though I've never been there. So I'm like, he's Italian. Black sports car. Big, all this over the top stuff.
Yeah.
And I even make up stuff about family members, make it up. And when I look back at the screen, she's writing stuff down, and she's got, a little teary, and she's like, thank you so much. She's never come through before. And I'm like,
wait, what?
No, I made that up. She goes, no, you didn't. Everything was right, except the black sports car belonged to his dad, but he drove it all the time. And I'm like, that's a real person? And she's like, yeah. And I believe Charlie did that for me to know when you don't put parameters on yourself and you think it's your imagination, it's real. And the level of detail I came up with doesn't make sense. And I've struggled without somebody sitting there saying, yes, that's my person, I would think I've lost my mind.
I totally believe everything you're saying because I feel the same way, right? I have a lot of the intuitive knowing, people speaking to me, all that stuff, but I'm constantly going, I don't think this is real.
Right.
I don't think this is real.
Right.
There's no way. It's a little sketchy. Are people just yanking my chain? What's
Right.
happening?
Right.
So one of the questions I have with Charlie is when he was like, give me the first thing in your head. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. My cynical mind goes, well, he probably just said, yes, you talked to one of my friends because he wanted you to believe in yourself. Then with the girl, was she in on it, right? Since then, you have kind of created this ability to know things, like to really trust it, right? Mm-hmm. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah. Without someone sitting there saying yes, I wouldn't believe anything that I'd gotten.
Yeah.
And I've had some interesting things happen. I'm trying to not call them crazy anymore. But I've said things to people that make no sense to my brain. Mm-hmm. And they go, yeah, that's so-and-so.
What do you see, like when you're doing a reading for somebody, what do you see in your mind's eye? Because I know what happened in our reading, and I love that you said, I don't want to know anything about you before the reading, which I appreciated. And I want you to give me yes, no, and I don't know answers to everything, which was also intriguing to me because I haven't had that before.
So the less I know about my sitter, the person who's coming for the reading, the easier it is for me. Because my brain, I mean, it's what we're wired to do. We take in data and we make a story, and it keeps us safe and helps us make decisions. So if I know anything about your story, my brain jumps in and tries to tell me what should be happening.
Yes.
So if I don't know anything about you and something comes in, I trust it more. I trust that I'm not making it up because I know something about you.
What are the things that you see in your mind's eye to indicate like someone is there?
So when it first started, it's kind of hard to explain. When it first started, I relied on images. I needed a really strong visual image. But that takes so much energy for spirit to give you that you kind of don't get anything else. Plus it's like a muscle, and I'm like brand new to working out, right? So I'm not real heavy. Like I can't do a lot. And the way Charlie explained it is like I have a little shot glass of information and available for spirit, and they're filling all of that energy up with one image.
Okay.
And so I would see a picture, and then I wouldn't trust what I got. And so I'd be like, wait, show me again. And they're like working real hard to show me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And they're like, show, and eventually you come to trust it more. And eventually your shot glass gets bigger. And then you can get the idea of an image with a feeling. Sometimes I'm very aware of a whole person with a full personality that comes in. Sometimes they feel further away. I don't pretend to understand how it all works. I just know that I'm getting things from this energy of a person that I feel, and the person in front of me says, yes, that's my person. So it can be a feeling, an image, a knowing. Sometimes it feels like a big energy download, and I'll have to like write stuff down real quick or talk really fast to get it all out. Yeah. And it kind of unfolds. It's kind of different with everybody I sit with.
I did notice you were scribbling, even though I couldn't see it. I could hear you scribbling a little bit, and then it was interesting in the sense that, and you made a comment, like, I didn't have the reaction that some people normally have because I hadn't lost anyone recently. But those that came through had a very important place in my heart. Right. When you do a reading for someone, do you feel like they need to, whoever you're speaking about, whoever comes through and gives you those signs, and you're asking the people the questions of yes, no, I don't know, the first person that comes to their mind, who it might be, is actually the person coming through, and to not question it. Kind of like you not questioning what you're seeing or hearing, they also need to be in tune with their intuition and not think about it. And just like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're asking. Okay. Sometimes people have it so stuck in their head that I want to hear from so-and-so, and other people come through and they are like, no, I don't know who that is, because their mind's not going there, or they're just no, because I want to hear from somebody else. Yeah. So I was taught by Charlie that we can go direct. So if it's that case, if you just have your heart set on hearing from this person, give me the first name of that person, no other information, and I will connect direct to that person. I like to leave a little bit of room for magic, because sometimes people don't know who they need to hear from. And I've had people that sat in front of me and I'm telling them, this stuff, and they're going, no, I don't know that. And I continue, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute. And skeptics could think like, oh, you made it fit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like I'll tell you about a guy that I read for. And I was like, there's a younger female that's coming through. And he's like, I don't know anybody. I go, yeah, like a teenager when she passed. And I feel like you guys are in the same social circle, maybe some flirting. He's like, no. And he's sitting there with his wife and he's looking at her and she's looking at him. And he's like, no. And I go, yep. And it was so interesting the way Spirit showed me. And I said, she shows me that you're a wonderful person and there's a little hole in your soul. You hold some kind of responsibility for this, for her passing. And he was like, oh my God. Yeah, keep talking. And so I tell him more and he starts crying. He goes, I never thought that she would come through.
No way.
And it was someone he knew as a teenager and he had some woulda, coulda, shouldas about her passing that then released him from that. But it was something he had held on to for like 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't forefront of his mind. He was thinking of these other people. It's really interesting because I've connected and I was reading for somebody and a male came through and he felt like such an amazing energy. And I was about to talk and he was very clear, very present. And he goes, don't say any of that. And I'm like, wait, what? In my head, or I'm about to start talking to her. He goes, she doesn't know me as that. Tell her that I was mean, vindictive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, drug and alcohol problems, and I'm trying to reconcile what he's telling me with the energy that I feel from him. And so I'm like, oh God, am I making this up? I don't know what to say. So I go with what he tells me.
Okay.
And to all of those things, mean, yes, vindictive, yes. All of those are yeses. And so it evolved into a conversation because she'd already made peace with him in his passing about who he was and forgiveness and all of that so he could come through. There was room for me to tell her that he sees the error of his ways. He's done his evolution. He's in spirit and he has a different frame of reference and he was coming through with a lot of apology. And it's not to guilt anybody. He's trying to explain, I'm taking ownership of how I showed up in the world for you. Months and months and months later, I'm doing a reading for another woman and I have a man come through and I'm seeing like, a character from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, he kind of looks like this guy, maybe? And she's like, yeah, actually he did. And I go, but he was actually kind of like that character, like all these really hard things. She's like, yeah. And then I realized, oh my God, it's the same guy.
Oh.
It's the same guy as before. They were related. She was referred to me by somebody.
You're kidding me.
So...
Wait, the same guy that said, don't tell her all the great things about me?
But for this person, he came through with all of his bad stuff first. And so then I asked him in my head, why did you come through like that for one, like this? He said, because she hasn't made peace with it like the other one has. So I need to show up how I was so that she can make peace with who I was. Because it feels manipulative to say, oh, he's all wonderful now and in spirit. She's not ready to hear that. She's still on her journey of forgiveness for how he showed up in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot about like human connection and things that spirit wants to say versus the person sitting there going, I want to hear from so-and-so. Well, sometimes spirit's like, that's great, but we're also going to hit you with this other person that you need to hear from.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got some unfinished business that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that is fucking fascinating.
It blew my mind.
So fascinating. You had mentioned earlier that you are a data gal.
Yes.
You're an analyst by trade. Yep. I mean, that's what you did
20
before.
years, yeah.
So how do you figure in the data side of you and the medium side of you, the spiritual side of you? How do you integrate those two things in what you do? Because you can't just shut off the data part of you.
No, you
right?
can't.
It's there forever, and that's awesome. So there's got to be a kind of a cool marriage between the two in order for you to do this work.
Yeah.
And that is fascinating to me. So can you explain a little bit about that?
So those two are definitely at war all the time. And my analyst is like, we need data, we need facts. Do we believe this? Give me a sign or sign. I need more evidence. And I think that's why I was so drawn to evidential mediumship, is because it's validatable stuff that someone can sit there and say yes or no to.
Is that what evidential mediumship is? Exactly what you just said?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So like psychic mediumship might be like about you or your future or advice.
Okay.
And when I'm doing evidential mediumship, everything I say is coming from spirit.
Okay.
And I've learned that I can talk to spirit guides for people the same way, and some of that is very subjective.
Okay.
And it makes me a little uncomfortable. But there is sometimes evidence in the message. But I'm going to spirit for that. So if I've sat with an energy that the whole time I've been talking, the person across from me is saying yes, 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 and then they come through the message, I now have the trust to say, okay, I'm going to say this message. And it's a little subjective, but I trust now I've been talking to this person for half an hour that they're telling me the right thing. So that part of my brain fights big time. And I overthink everything. I am my own worst enemy when it comes to spirituality.
Yes.
And so much of my journey was me going to other people saying, tell me, help me. What do I need to know? What do they want to tell me?
Yes.
And they're not allowed to do that,
No.
right? Like, Spirit's not going to. And anybody that would tell me something, I'm like, that doesn't track. That doesn't resonate. Because Spirit's like, can you find your own knowing, your own intuition, your own belief? We're telling you.
And trust it.
Yes,
right?
trust it.
Trust it, yeah.
And so I always wanted more. And so many people would tell me, well, you have to get out of your head and into your heart. And I'm like, well, how do you do that?
I'm all fuck off.
I'm like,
it's so hard.
Right? Give me the book, give me the steps and I'll do it.
God.
But it's like, well, you just have to figure it out. And I'm like, tell me.
Yes.
So actually there's a part of me that loves to talk to super intellectual people who are on this journey already.
Yes.
Because there are things that have helped me understand when people would always talk about feeling the energy. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then through experience, I understand it. But it's kind of an abstract concept. And it's like if you tell somebody, what is the energy of Wednesday to you?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah. Can you feel, you don't even have to find words for it, but can you feel the energy of a Wednesday?
Yeah, it's mellow.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like, meh.
Right. And then if you can feel the energy of July.
It is very heightened.
Yeah.
Because it's hot and there's a lot of things happening.
So it's things like that, right?
Okay.
Like feeling the energy of things that are kind of abstract.
Okay.
Is what kind of helped me go, oh, okay. And then I also would tell anybody, if you're looking for something else, I was always looking for something outside myself. Like I would hear people talk about see their loved ones. They hear this. And for them, that might be true. I've heard voices. I know it sounds crazy. I've heard voices.
Doesn't sound crazy. Do you ever feel like when you have certain energies come in, right? Certain spirits come in. Some of them are, I've learned this recently, like at a lower vibration, and it's a little sketch. It's a little like, I don't like this feeling. And so you have to say to them, I send you back to the light for healing. Do you ever have those types of spirits come through, or is it really just those trying to educate you on what you are doing and what you need to continue to do for yourself, or that you need to reach out to somebody and give them a message?
So I don't look for anybody in spirit unless I have someone sitting in front of me to give messages to. There's no reason for me to.
Okay.
And it's funny, I have a running joke. They always show up in the shower. So I'm in the shower and I'm thinking
I've heard that, yeah.
I'm thinking about my reading later, and all of a sudden I'm aware of a woman.
Oh, gee.
And I'm like, okay, wait, stop, I'm sorry. Right? Because as soon as I think about them, I move my mind to spirit. There they are. They will always be there.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that. I'm pulling her in. And so as soon as you think about it, you're going to find them. And so there's some people like, oh, this person's been with me for days. No, they haven't. You keep looking for the person. My mentor taught me this. As soon as you look for the person, you're going to find them. So I don't connect unless I have a person sitting in front of me that wants messages. And where my intention, where I was taught everything is, I'm in source home, right? If you want to call that heaven. I don't know what the right word is, but to me it's like a heaven.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking to. That's who I'm connecting with. So I'm not looking for stuff of here. There's lower, denser, darker stuff that's here.
Yeah.
When I am doing mediumship, I'm never worried because I'm looking in heaven. Okay. There is one time, though, that I did have a person sitting in front of me. They wanted to hear from a specific person in their family line. And as soon as they went to connect, and it was a female they were asking for, I was aware of a male energy, and I'm like, who are you? And it was like, oh, I'm a spirit guide. And I was like, oh, can I not talk to her? And they said, no. But what questions do you have?
That's different.
I don't understand it, but evidently she was into some darker stuff, had a whole history of things, and Spirit just stepped in and said, we can give you answers that your sitter wants, but you won't connect to her.
They say where she was?
No, and I didn't ask.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want to know either.
No, that's none of my business.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Well, that's the thing.
You
have to disconnect from what you're sharing so that you don't bring it with you, right?
It's not mine.
Yeah.
It's like a package you're dropping off. Yeah.
The messenger. You're the messenger.
Right.
Okay. Wow. What is one thing you wish someone would have said to you when you were starting to have all of these sightings, these feelings, these knowings, and you were questioning yourself? Because I know there's a lot of people, myself included, that do question it.
Number one is you're going to have to find it, right? Yeah. No one's going to hand you the answers, and that is giving your power away. Whether it's to tarot cards, to a medium, to somebody else to tell you what's going on and what should be happening. That's not how it works. Spirit's not. They want you to find that, because I'm not gifted. I'm not special. I'm not unique. I am exercising a muscle that all of us have to be connected. That's my belief. And it's just like anything else. Some people are more predisposed to it. Like, some people are going to play neighborhood pickup basketball, and some people are going to play NBA, right? I'm probably somewhere in the middle, but I'm working hard at trying to hone the skill. But it's something we all have. It's innate in all of us. The biggest thing I want people to know is that you're not alone. You have a team. You have loved ones. You have all of this support on the other side that's actually right here. Yeah. As soon as you think about your loved ones, it brings them in. As soon as you tell a story about them, it brings them in. You don't need me. I can validate it for you, but you don't need me. I really want people to know that they're not alone. And I've been through some really hard times in my life when I thought I was completely alone. And I wish I had known that in those times I never was. Yeah. It's available to everybody if you look for the magic, leave room for magic. And sometimes, especially the overthinkers, it's really hard because you don't trust it. Yeah. But it's not an exact science.
It's true. What you said earlier, getting out of your head and into your heart. Yeah. It's not just a saying, it's the actual doing of this practice of tapping into spirit, tapping into those that might be around you, guides, angels, those that have passed. They have messages for us. Right. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you have to protect yourself too, right? When you are allowing these spirits to come in and speak to you. That's what I've learned from this journey that I've been on is there's a lot of magic that happens, and a lot of spirits, if you've tapped in, which you have and I have, it's learning how to put up boundaries so that they don't bombard you with messages or tapping of like, hey, I need you to go talk to this person, or I have a message for this person, or you need to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. It can be a constant chatter. Right? So do you have a method of protection? Do you have a method of how you integrate those that come through? I know for myself, when I was doing a little bit of this training, I guess is what you call it, I would have a special place I would allow them to come into, and I had a bouncer, this guy, spirit guide named Pete, and he would sit there with his newspaper and allow people to come in when I was ready.
Right.
That sounds crazy to say out loud.
It absolutely does. But I get that. That's like kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. Everybody has their own way. It doesn't have to be one way.
And, okay, so anything that you're not good at as a human, you're going to have to work on the spiritual journey. Yeah. Anything that needs attention in your human world is going to show up in spirit. Okay. So if you're not good at setting boundaries, you're going to have to learn how to set boundaries in life, because you're also going to have to set them with spirit. So when I would fall asleep and I would hear my name, Jenn.
Oh God, that's discerning.
I was asleep, and I was like, no. Creepy. From the very beginning, I love my sleep. I set the boundary. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I was at the Refuge Spa. Love that place. And had come out of a massage. I'm standing outside. It's open air, and I'm standing there, and it's like so beautiful and peaceful. And I hear, Jenn. Outside, and I'm looking, and there's nobody around. And I'm like, I don't know what that's about. And so I'm sitting outside, and I'm looking for like, okay, who was that? And there was a woman, and it was like, oh, it's my sister's there, and it was either her or the sister's birthday, and I want you to tell them happy birthday, or I think it was tell my sister happy birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I will not do that. Number one, we can't talk here.
Yeah, right?
Number two, I'm never going to just approach somebody randomly. I think that there's ethics in that is just absolutely not okay. If you want me to tell her, you need to orchestrate a way that she and I start talking and this comes up.
Oh, that's
and
a good way to do
her.
it. That's a great way to approach it.
But I'm never going to ambush somebody at their beautiful birthday spa retreat.
Yes.
Because you have no idea what else you're bringing up. So for me, those kind of boundaries, it was just like, no.
Yeah.
So that it stopped. That stopped. Because they're like, oh, she's not going to do that.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so as far as protection, that's interesting. So I protect my energy. I ground in my space. I clear my own space, my home, things like that. But that's because of my human interactions and activities. When I'm doing mediumship, I'm connecting to spirit. There's nothing to be fearful of. And I don't know if that's the way I was taught, the intention behind it. I'm not looking for anywhere other than spirit, like heaven.
So I imagine it like you're a conduit, right? You're the connection between spirit and those that you're reading for, right? And I imagine it being something like you have a shield around you, or that's what I would think, right? You have a shield around you, and they can put the energy into you to give you the information, but they can't put anything else. Does that make sense? Like you're still protected, you're still giving the information, because if you don't have that shield of invisible protection around you, I'm going to relay this information to the person sitting across from me for you, but you cannot impede on my space. I can feel it in my body.
Well, I can feel it. So I was doing a phone reading for somebody once, and the person I had, it felt very kind of far away. Oh my God, it was this woman's husband. And I felt his energy rush at me, hit a wall, back up, came harder, broke through my wall, and I started sobbing.
No.
I could feel unconditional, overwhelming love. And I am blubbering on the phone with this woman. I'm like, sorry, hold on, I gotta blow my nose.
Oh my God.
Over her husband. And she's like, yeah, that's my husband, right? And I'm telling her things, and it's yes, yes, yes. And so later I'm like, what was that about? I had walls up to feeling emotions.
Yeah.
So my spirit team is like, hit her, knock it down, get through. Because I'm like, you can tell me things, but from way over there. But that's how I am in life.
Do you think that
over there.
by doing that, it made it more real for the woman that you were reading for? Like,
I don't know what it showed her. I felt like an idiot.
You were like Whoopi Goldberg in The Ghost. Like, you took on you channeled, essentially.
It was. And well, this July, I'm going back to England, and I'm doing a week residential with Charlie on trance mediumship. So we'll talk more about that later.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will. But
I think that, it's part of that shadow work piece. I didn't want to feel my feelings in life. I stuffed my feelings. I numbed them. I did all these things for years and years and years. To do this work, you have to access feelings because you have to feel it to tell the people. And spirit's communicating through energy. So if you can't feel the energy, you can't say the things.
Right.
And so this was very early in my practices. And I feel like it was necessary. I can't get hit with that level of emotion every time because then I can't talk.
Yeah.
I don't know if it meant anything to her if she thought this girl's a little dramatic. Because for me, it was like, that has never happened. That was overwhelming. It felt like energy, like I felt it. But I think it was also part of my process as a person to realize like, oh, I keep people over here.
Yeah.
Right? And shadow work, if you're going to head down your spiritual path, there is so much magic, but there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of introspection. You have to look at your ugly shit. Like, you got to look at your stuff. And if you're not looking at your stuff, you're not going to get very far on the journey. You're going to kind of stay in this magical play world, a little bit of psychosis, but you're not going to heal. And I think that's the point, is healing and facing hard things.
Yes, I am 100% in agreement with you. And I feel like that process is my story with where I'm at, right? With the not being able to see through my eyes, but another vision has shown up. Even though I always laugh at it, I'm like, that's so cliche. Oh, I lost one sight and I'm gaining another. Yeah, I did. I still don't want to accept it. But every day I'm reminded, because I can't see, like, no, this was the only way that you would have actually stopped thinking. and started feeling.
Yeah.
This is the only way that we could get through to you. This was the only way that you were going to slow down and pivot. We are guiding you on this path now that you chose to go on. You still have free will, but you've got work to do, and you're not doing it by avoiding your actual path and your journey. So I find that so fascinating, and I resonate with it so much. It makes me feel good to know that I'm not, like you said earlier, we're not the only ones.
No.
Right? There's so many people out there that I think are unknowingly fighting with this knowledge and this knowing and this intuition, because it seems flippin' crazy.
It does.
For people to be able to be like, I see dead people.
right.
And it's scary. It's super scary, but it's also really flippin' beautiful that you can tap into people that are reminding those that they left behind how much they are loved and how they are on the other side and they're okay, and they want to remind them that they're always with them.
Right.
Or they are sorry for what they did or whatever, asking for forgiveness, coming to them as they were, but also showing them how much lighter and more elevated they are.
Right.
So that they can come back again and do something different that might be better or worse.
Right.
You know, the lessons that they have to learn.
For mediumship with me, so much about wanting people to know that they're not alone is because you feel like you have a team of people. You feel like you have help. And I actually had a client say that back to me, that because of the messaging and stuff that she got from her loved ones, she was living her life differently. She was standing up for herself differently in relationships and work. And she's crying, I'm crying, we're hugging. And she's like, because I know I'm not alone. Yeah. And I was like, there it is. Like, you know, that's it. And it just, there's something about that really that hits me really hard about knowing that you have this team that is unconditional love. And you kind of mentioned this briefly earlier. They're not going to tell you what to do. So if you ever have spirit, energy, whatever that comes in that's trying to make you fearful, giving you ultimatums, telling you have to do this or you have to do that, that's not spirit. That's some other energy. It could be a thought form, it could be whatever, but that's not divine source love and spirit. They're never going to tell you what to do unless it'll save your life, right? Which I've had that happen.
Yes.
Even then, you still have free will.
Yes.
And I've had that happen, but they're not going to, I have people that come to me and, you know, I'm talking to their loved one, what does she think about my boyfriend? And I'm like, I'm not the right person. Because I know that, you know, mom, grandma, whoever, they're laughing because they're like, ooh, he's a lesson, honey. Right? But she's got to figure that out.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it's up to her, not
So
them.
they're not going to tell you. They're going to say, if you're happy, we're happy. If you're holding your boundaries and honoring yourself, we're happy. And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? Right? But you decide and you make the choice. They're never going to tell you, oh, we love him or we don't love him. They're going to say, how are you?
Wow.
And people want to give up their power and their choices to something else. And that's not what Spirit does. Spirit tries to empower you to find your own connection, make your own best choices.
I love that so much. How can people find you?
So I have a space here locally in the peninsula that I do readings out of. I also do Zoom readings.
Okay.
They can see more about me at seaglass1word-spirit.com. And I'm also on Instagram as medium_Jenn.
Okay.
I think those are probably the two best places to find me.
And we'll link them in the podcast so people can find you that way too.
We can do Zoom, a phone call, and in person. Talk about your spiritual awakening, mediumship.
Love that.
Do whatever.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for you in this journey. I can't wait to see how your season goes.
Well, I'm excited. It's a little selfish on my part because I always love talking to those who I connect with in the woo world and spiritually. So this is such a beautiful platform to do that. And I'm so grateful that you and I got the chance to meet a couple weeks ago through our friend Kristen White.
She's amazing,
and I'm going to have her on too.
Yay!
And just that we connected as we did, and that's to your point. Like, you do connect with the people you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And I find that now that I'm in this world a little bit more and really accepting of where I'm at, those people are showing up, and the ones that aren't connected to me in that way anymore. Although I love them, I'm allowing them to go on their way. They're allowing me to go on my way, and we're able to to still be friends or connect, but not like this is a whole nother, like I'm up leveling, right? You've up leveled. We're all up leveling a little bit. I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And for all of you, thank you. And I hope that you check Jenn's website out and remember that your higher self does have the answers, but it's always good to ask some questions. Stay curious, take care, and see you guys next time. All right, everybody, that's another episode of My Higher Self Has Questions. If you know someone who could benefit from the conversation we've had on My Higher Self Has Questions, please share the link. You can find me on all socials at Jamie Estelle Roth or at jamieestelleroth.com, where I share my Rebel meditations, podcast updates, and a few jokes about my questionable adulting. Until next time, keep laughing, keep healing, and remember, your higher self already has the answers. I'm just here to ask a few more questions.